Welcome to English Now. Today's training is called Super Slow English Story. Train your brain to understand fast. This session is designed for learners who already speak English well and want to sharpen their listening skills, strengthen comprehension, and train the brain to react faster to natural speech. First, I will read a story at an extremely slow pace, giving your mind time to absorb every word, every structure, and every idea with clarity. Your job is simple: relax, follow the rhythm, and let your brain build strong connections. Later, you can rewatch this video at a higher speed to boost your understanding even further. Before we begin, check the first pinned comment and download the ebook, Train Your Advanced English, Fluency in Practice. It will support your training and expand today's lesson. Now, settle in, breathe slowly, and get ready. Let's begin our super slow story. Super Slow English Story, Part 1. It was early morning in a quiet coastal town. The sky was still pale, and a cool breeze moved gently across the empty streets. A young woman named Clara stepped outside her apartment with a small notebook in her hand. Every day, before sunrise, she walked to the edge of the old pier to write. She believed that the calm of the morning helped her think more clearly. That day, however, something felt different. As she approached the pier, she noticed a faint humming sound in the distance. It was low, steady, and unlike anything she had heard before. Clara stopped walking and listened carefully. The sound grew slightly louder, vibrating through the wooden boards beneath her feet. Instead of turning back, she moved forward slowly. Her curiosity was stronger than her fear. The horizon was still dim, but she could see a soft glow spreading across the water. It pulsed gently, almost like a heartbeat. Clara tightened her grip on her notebook and whispered to herself, "What is that?" She took a few more steps, feeling the breeze shift around her. The humming deepened, smooth and constant. The glow grew brighter, stretching wider across the surface of the sea. Clara felt a strange mix of calm and excitement rising in her chest. Whatever was happening, she knew it was not part of her usual morning routine. She reached the end of the pier and leaned over the wooden railing. The ocean below was perfectly still. The glow shimmered like a soft curtain of light drifting beneath the surface. Clara watched, unable to look away. For a moment, the world felt completely silent, as if holding its breath. Clara slowly knelt down, resting her notebook on the edge of the pier. The glow beneath the surface continued to pulse, steady and calm, like a quiet invitation. She narrowed her eyes, trying to understand what she was seeing. The light wasn't sharp or artificial. It felt natural, soft, almost alive. She reached her hand toward the water, stopping just a few centimeters above it. The air hovering above the surface felt warmer than before. A gentle wave of heat passed over her fingers, surprising her. Clara pulled back slightly, then leaned in again. The warmth was real. It wasn't her imagination. Suddenly, the humming sound shifted. It rose and fell in a slow, rhythmic pattern, like a distant melody. Clara's heartbeat matched the rhythm without her realizing it. Her breathing slowed. Her shoulders relaxed. It felt as if the sound itself was guiding her body into a calmer state. She whispered, "What are you?" Her voice echoed softly across the empty pier. A moment later, the glow expanded. It drifted outward, spreading wider beneath the water, forming a large circular shape. The center of the circle brightened, turning almost white. Clara stepped back instinctively, but her eyes stayed locked on the strange formation. Then the circle collapsed inward, gathering all the light into a single column that rose slowly toward the surface. Clara gasped. The beam reached the air, hovering just above the water, shimmering like liquid silver. It wasn't water. It wasn't mist. It was something in between. The column twisted gently, forming delicate patterns that dissolved and reformed as if it were thinking. Clara's mind raced, but her body stayed still, grounded by a feeling she couldn't explain. A feeling that she was safe. The column of light lowered itself again, dipping back into the surface. The glow softened but did not disappear. It spread outward once more, slower this time. Clara felt a sudden urge to observe more closely. She leaned forward, resting her elbows on the railing, letting the morning air cool her cheeks. She opened her notebook and flipped to a blank page. Her pen hovered above the paper. She didn't know what to write. She wasn't even sure how to describe what she was witnessing. Was it a natural phenomenon? A hallucination caused by lack of sleep? Something else entirely? She wrote one simple sentence. "I am not alone on this pier." As soon as the words touched the page, the humming paused. The glow dimmed, just for a moment, and then brightened again. Clara froze. The pier creaked lightly behind her. Her breath caught in her throat. She turned her head slowly. No one was there. Only the soft wind brushing past the wooden posts. She exhaled and faced the ocean again. The glow shifted like a wave, rising and falling in calm motion. Clara felt the sensation of being watched, not with fear, but with curiosity, as if something in the water was observing her with the same intensity she had for it. Minutes passed. The sky grew brighter, and the first hints of sunrise began to color the horizon. Soft orange light blended with the pale blue morning sky. Clara watched the ocean glow gradually dim as the natural sunlight strengthened. But it didn't disappear completely. It simply softened, like a hidden ember in the dark. Clara waited. The humming remained steady. Her chest felt warm, her mind alert, as if something inside her was slowly waking up. She whispered, "Are you trying to tell me something?" The glow flickered once. Clara blinked. The flicker repeated. A soft, gentle pulse. She stepped back from the railing, trying to make sense of the pattern. The pulsing continued, slow and deliberate. There was meaning in it. She could feel it, not words. Something deeper. She closed her notebook and held it against her chest. Her body was calm, but her thoughts were sharp, focused, alive. The pier vibrated gently under her feet. Not shaking, just a subtle tremor, almost like a heartbeat syncing with her own. Clara stood completely still, waiting for the next sign. The light beneath the water intensified once more, forming a shape. Not a circle this time, but something elongated, stretching horizontally like a path. A path leading away from the pier. A path of light. Clara's breath trembled. She didn't know where it led. She didn't know if she should follow it. But she couldn't deny it. Every part of her felt drawn toward it, as if it were calling her name without sound, without language. The warm breeze shifted again, brushing her hair to the side. Clara whispered, "What do you want me to do?" The glowing path pulsed softly, waiting. Clara stepped closer to the railing, gripping the worn wood with both hands. The glowing path on the water shimmered gently, as if breathing. It stretched far into the distance, straight and steady, forming a line of soft, shimmering light that guided her eyes toward the open sea. She swallowed slowly. Her heart beat with a calm intensity that felt unfamiliar. The humming sound deepened. It vibrated through the pier, through her chest, through the air around her. It wasn't loud, just steady, warm, and comforting. Clara let the sound settle inside her, anchoring her thoughts. She whispered, "If you want me to follow, I need to know why." Her voice barely touched the air. The light flickered again. Then again. 3 slow pulses. Almost like a response. Clara stepped back and closed her eyes for a moment. The breeze carried the smell of salt and morning dew. When she opened her eyes again, the glowing path looked even clearer. Not brighter, just more defined, as if the ocean itself had carved a trail of light through its surface. She crouched down and touched the edge of the pier with her fingertips. The wood felt warmer than before. A soft vibration pulsed beneath her touch, like the pier was sharing the same rhythm as the light on the water. Clara straightened up. She hugged her notebook to her chest, breathing deeply. The world around her seemed to quiet. Even the early morning birds stayed silent, as if the entire coastline were waiting with her. She took a few slow steps toward the center of the pier, drawn by instinct. Her footsteps sounded softer than usual. Every sound felt muted, wrapped in the gentle hum filling the air. Clara stopped at the very end of the pier. The glowing path aligned perfectly with where she stood, as if it were pointing directly at her. She whispered, "If this is a message, I'm listening." The glow pulsed once, stronger than before, sending a ripple across the water. The ripple traveled toward her, smooth and symmetrical. When it reached the base of the pier, the wood vibrated gently. Clara steadied herself, eyes wide. Another ripple followed. Then another. 3 calm, deliberate waves of light. Clara's breath trembled. 3 pulses of light. 3 ripples. 3 signs. She felt something shift inside her, a quiet certainty she couldn't explain. The pattern wasn't random. It was intentional. She opened her notebook again, flipping to the same page. Below her first sentence, she wrote, It is communicating. The moment she finished the final letter, the humming lowered into a deep, warm tone. The kind of sound that felt like reassurance. Clara felt her shoulders relax, as if the ocean had just nodded at her. The glow beneath the water changed shape again. It began to curve, slowly, rhythmically, forming a sweeping arc that wrapped around the pier like a gentle embrace. The arc didn't touch the wood, but it illuminated the sea around her in a perfect crescent of soft light. Clara turned in a slow circle, watching the glowing curve move with fluid precision. It felt protective, like the light wanted her to feel safe before revealing something more. She whispered, "You're showing me something, aren't you?" A soft pulse answered her. Long and slow. Clara stared at the arc, mesmerized. The shape held steady for several seconds. Then, without warning, it began to rise. Not the entire arc, only its center. A faint column of light lifted from the water, much smaller than the one she had seen earlier. It floated just above the surface, swaying gently like a ribbon caught in a breeze. Clara felt a tug in her chest. The small column moved toward the pier, inch by inch, gliding without sound. She stepped back, not out of fear, but out of awe. The light stopped at the perfect distance from her, hovering just above the edge of the pier. Clara crouched down. The column lowered itself slightly, as if meeting her halfway. The humming softened into the quietest tone she had heard so far, barely audible, like a whisper of light. Clara extended her hand, just close enough to feel the warmth radiating from the floating glow. The warmth was gentle, soothing, alive. She whispered, "Are you the guide?" The column pulsed once. A soft, golden pulse. Clara felt the answer settle in her bones, not heard, not spoken, but understood. The light drifted backward, returning to the center of the glowing path. Then it began to move forward, gliding along the trail of light, heading toward the open sea. Clara stood slowly, her breath deep, steady. The meaning was clear. It wanted her to follow. But she didn't move yet. She stood at the end of the pier, her hand resting on the railing, watching the small column drift away like a lantern guiding the darkness. Clara whispered, "Where are you taking me?" The glowing path pulsed again. Slow, inviting, patient. The sky brightened further, brushing the horizon with soft gold. Clara felt the first warmth of daylight touch her skin. But the light on the water, that living, breathing glow, remained stronger than the rising sun. She took a single step forward. Then another. The pier creaked softly beneath her feet. She stopped at the very edge, staring at the luminous trail stretching far into the sea. Her heart steadied. Her mind sharpened. Her breath deepened. The glowing path waited. Clara stood at the edge of the pier, the glowing path stretching into the open water like a quiet promise. The small column of light continued drifting forward, pausing every few seconds as if checking whether she was still behind it. Clara tightened her grip on her notebook and took one deliberate step closer to the edge. The humming softened again, settling into a calm, steady tone that made her chest feel warm and focused. The path pulsed gently, slow, patient, inviting. Clara felt the message within it. Trust the direction. Trust the moment. She whispered, "All right, I'm coming." She stepped off the final wooden plank, not into the water, but into a feeling, a moment where her decision aligned with something larger than herself. The light responded instantly. The entire path brightened for a brief second, as if acknowledging her choice. The small column glided ahead, moving steadily toward the horizon. Clara followed it with her eyes, sensing that whatever waited at the end of that glowing trail would change everything she understood about the world and about herself. The breeze shifted once more, warm and gentle. Clara took a deep breath and whispered, "I'm ready." If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like.